Thank you, everybody. I would like to remind everyone to please make sure that all cell phones are turned to the off or vibrate position. Also, please be advised our city council meetings are broadcast on Comcast Channel 99, AT&T UVerse, and the City of Gadsden YouTube channel. This meeting of the Gadsden City Council will now come to order. The chair calls on City Clerk Iva Nelson for the roll call.
Councilwoman Latham.
Present.
Councilman Smith.
Here.
Councilman Avery.
Here.
Councilman Back.
Here.
Councilman Wilson.
Here.
Councilwoman Menasha.
Here.
And Councilman Robinson.
Here.
We have a quorum present and our meeting is open for business. I'm going to ask Councilwoman Latham to lead the invocation. Please stand and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Father God, we thank you for this day. We thank you that you have blessed us with opportunity to serve you first, then to serve this city. We thank you that you are omnipotent, and we ask for your guidance. We thank you for your instruction, Lord God. And we thank you that our steps are ordered by you. We ask your continued blessings and leading upon our mayor and upon the city council, that we would do your will, Lord God, that we would do the things that you have so assigned to our hands to do. And so we thank you for the wisdom, the knowledge, and your guidance to do just that. We thank you for what you have done, for what you are doing, and then we thank you for what you are going to do. We thank you that your will is done in this city. We thank you that your will will be done in this region. And we have your faith, God, to call those things that be not as though they were. We ask this in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the Finance Committee, work session, and regular and special call city council meetings held on April 4th.
I wasn't at the finance meeting. I'm not.
Oh, this is finance?
So moved.
I'm sorry.
Second. Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to approve minutes.
Okay, I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna go slower this time.
Yeah.
The chair will entertain a motion to ratify payments of account for the week of March 31st through April 6th.
So moved.
Second.
Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to ratify payment of the accounts.
Agenda item 7 is for proclamations and commendations. I believe the mayor has a couple of those this morning.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the council. Today, I would like, is there Ms. Mishra in the audience? Please come forward. I'll read this while she's coming forward. Ms. Mishra was born on July 28, 1968 in India. She received her master's in English literature from Delhi University of India and her master's in special education from Jacksonville State University, where she graduated summa cum laude. She now lives in Gadsden, Alabama with her husband, Dr. Mishra, and 2 sons, Ankor and Parag. That was good. Whereas, according to the CDC report of 2021, 1 out of 44 babies born these days are diagnosed with autism. There are 5.4 million adults with autism, which accounts for about 2% of the population of the United States. Of this population, 40% are nonverbal, and those who can verbalize are limited in expressing their emotions and feelings. Ms. Mishra felt people with autism needed a voice to advocate for them. Ms. Mishra has been invited as a keynote speaker at Jacksonville State University, the School for Autism in Panama City, United Community and Family Services Healthcare in Connecticut, and other autism conferences regarding autism awareness in 2018. She was invited by the Department of Psychiatry at Bassett Law Hospital United Kingdom, to share Parag's progress in functional verbal communication. Also in 2018, she was honored by the Midhala Culture Society of the UK for her devoted work in the field of autism. She is bringing autism awareness and acceptance through the speaking engagement, television interviews, and a Facebook blog. Ms. Mishra has published a book called Autism, Our Journey in Finding Happiness, which compiles her 20-year journey of dealing with autism through her son Parag. She has even started an annual Autism Spectrum Conference called Together We Can Make a Difference to bring awareness locally in Gadsden, Alabama. Her vision is also to share this conference on a digital platform all over the world. The Together We Can Make a Difference conference is a collaboration between Gadsden Regional Medical Center, Gadsden State Community College, and the Autism Foundation of Gadsden, Alabama. Now, therefore, I, Craig Ford, Mayor of Gadsden, Alabama, do hereby join with the Gadsden City Council in proclaiming the month of April as Autism Awareness Month. Thank you. Would you like to say a few words?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for this honor. I'm so humbled and grateful. I also want to thank all the people of Gadsden, Alabama, for giving me this opportunity to serve you all with my knowledge on autism. My son Parag was diagnosed with autism when he was 2 years and 7 months of age. And before that, I had not even heard the word autism. The more I read, the more I researched, I got very depressed and disheartened because there is no cure for autism. In order to help Parag and my family, I decided to gather all the ammunition of knowledge. For that very reason, I went to Jacksonville State University to get my master's in special education. And over there, this started happening. Every paper that I wrote, every presentation that I made was about Parag, because by that time, I had already started Parag's homeschool. And whatever I was learning at the university, I was tweaking it and applying in my homeschool. So my professors, when they saw how Parag was improving, they said, "Mamta, write a book. It is going to help a lot of people." But somehow I was not convinced. It took me 11 years to be convinced by an incident that happened right here in Gadsden. I went to a flower shop, and the lady who was helping me, when I gave the credit card to her, she looks at the card and says, "Mishra, are you the candle maker's mom?" Oh gosh, it felt great to be recognized by my son's abilities. And this was the instant in time, moment in time that I realized that Parag's vocation has come to stay and that people have started recognizing him for his abilities. So when I came back home, I took out a notebook and standing by the kitchen counter, I started writing. When I lifted my head up, 2.5 hours had passed by, and the manuscript of my book was completed. Then came the good stuff, editing, re-editing, and then with God's grace, I found an editor who believed in a journey, who believed in a story, and published my book, Autism, Our Journey in Finding Happiness. This book has been translated recently in Spanish language as well. I run a Facebook page with the same name as my book. It has a following of more than 123,000 people, and it is going strong. And once this book was published, people started sending me friend requests from all over the world, and that is why I made this public Facebook page. And so what I do is I counsel for free also through that page. If you want to know more about Parag, more about autism, then please join me on that platform, because I am building my tribe of supporters and believers for autism. Just now, Mayor said that we are organizing an autism conference Together, we can make a difference. This is the second annual Autism Conference, and we are holding it at Venue. It is a collaboration between Gadsden Regional Medical Center, Gadsden State Community College, and Autism Foundation of Gadsden, Alabama. And as he already told you, the number is wrong right now. Not 1 out of 44. It is 1 out of 36, Mr. Mayor. And that CDC report came just a few days back, 2023. And of course, 40% of this population is nonverbal. They need our voice to be heard. And this conference is for everybody, because autism awareness is not possible until and unless each and every member of the community is involved, because together we can make a difference. Thank you so much, and please join the conversation. You can go to the website asdofgadsden.org to register and be a part of this autism awareness. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, Councilman Smith.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just want to say it's great to have Dr. Misra and Ms. Misra here today. I've read her book and actually met with her. She is in the process of building a brand new autism park in the city of Gadsden. She's made a major investment and bought her property already, and I'm part of her tribe and her support, and we want to do everything we can to make sure she get properly zoned for that park to come to fruition as the city of Jacksonville is beckoning her to bring that park to Jacksonville, but we want to make sure we keep that in the city of Gadsden, Alabama, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Smith. Yes, Mayor.
One more.
Sure.
Okay, thank you, and thank you, very enlightening. This is the next proclamation. Would y'all like to come forward? Come on. Oh, a bunch. There we go. Come on in. Whereas the Fair Housing Act, enacted on April 11, 1968, enshrined into federal law the goal of eliminating racial segregation and ending housing discrimination in the United States. Whereas the Fair Housing Act prohibits discrimination in housing based on race, color, religion, sex, familial status, national origin, and disability, and commits recipients of federal funding to affirmatively further fair housing in their communities. And whereas the City of Gadsden is committed to the mission and intent of Congress to provide fair and equal housing opportunity for all. Whereas our social fabric, the economy, health, and environment is strengthened in diverse, inclusive communities, and whereas more than 50 years after the passage of the Fair Housing Act, discrimination persists and many communities remain segregated. Whereas acts of housing discrimination and barriers to equal housing opportunity are repugnant to a common sense of decency and fairness. Now therefore, I, Craig Ford, Mayor of Gadsden, Alabama, proclaim that the City Council and the City of Gadsden does hereby declare the month of April as Fair Housing Month. Thank you. Ruth, will you come
Thank
up?
you.
Thanks, all. Let's get a picture, then we'll let you go to the president. All right. Come on. You come on. Well, you just repeat it. You say whatever, yes. You tell, you're the president next week.
I'm 2023 Board of Realtors President for National Association of Realtors, so we just want to say thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
We have a shortcut at our office, and it's every person in every every person in every zip code deserves to experience the American dream by owning a home. I really know it. I just couldn't get it all out. That's our shortcut.
Wonderful.
And we do just want to say thank you today on behalf of the Northeast Alabama Association of Realtors. We want to work together with our community, and we look forward to working with the City of Gadsden to further fair housing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Ford. Thank you very much. All right, agenda item 8 is unfinished business. Item 8A is an ordinance authorizing conveyance of property to Etowah County Communications 911 District. This was presented last week for first reading. It conveys the city's 1/3 interest in the building located on property owned by the Etowah County Communications 911 District at 4610 Airport Road. The chair will entertain a motion to adopt this ordinance.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the ordinance, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Item 8B is a resolution ordering abatement of nuisance on property at 235 North 6th Street in District 3. This resolution was tabled for 7 days on April 4th. There is a recommendation from the building official to adopt the resolution. What is the pleasure of the council?
I'll yield some time to Ms. Johnson to speak on the progress that she has gone.
All right, is there, Ms. Johnson, would you please give us your name and your address for our records?
Okay, I'm Zelamina Johnson, Zelamina Owens Johnson. 235 North 6th Street, Gadsden is the address that I use.
Okay.
And I am 1/2 heir to the property, which is referred to as Owens Manor. To make us, I'm here in opposition of it being abated or demolished. With the help of Councilman Avery, he has put me in touch with someone who is going to put a tarp over it for the present time until we can maybe get it repaired. And he's also mentioned that can be placed on the national or the historic registry because it is a historic area. To make a small correction, it was a boarding house, and it was open to people of color as everyone else, that came through the 50s and 60s, especially during the Civil Rights Movement. It was owned by my grandmother, Annie Owens, and I'm just here. I don't want to see it demolished. I know it's in a lot of needs repairing, and if it can be done, I'd like it to be done.
All right. Well, thank you for your comments. I don't think Mr. Harbison is here. We did discuss this in our pre-council meeting, and there was concern that there's I think a hole in the roof. Is that right? So the tarp is going to go over that hole. Mm-hmm. And
he also mentioned he could place it over the opening on the side where the wind has fallen out.
Okay. And how long would you expect that to stay in that kind of a condition?
Well, I'm hoping as soon as I can to get it repaired or something. I want to be given a chance to get it repaired.
Have you spoken with anyone that does those kind of repairs?
Well, no, I haven't. I've spoken to people, but I've been given many excuses. It's either too dangerous, it's too, we're 3 months out, we're too busy, But I'll find the right person.
All right. Well, thank you, ma'am. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Mr. President, to speak to it and asked again, to the historic nature of this facility, also speaking with Ms. Johnson and other persons, that's the purpose of continuing to table this piece of property here because of its historic nature, not just because of just for her personally, but to the city of Gadsden also to preserve it if possible. Also with speaking with the state representative and knowing of the possibility of the funds that are available to rehab and restore this home, to possibly create it as a museum, as a mechanism to draw tourism, draw other educational purposes to the area concerning our city, the history that is here in our city city and just not state or nationally, but that could draw state or nationally attention. This is the continuous reason why I'm asking for an additional table. So I'll do it again today because there is a person out there today. It's been clarified that we'll tarp it. That was the purpose of pre-council, to ask what else need to be done. So the tarp is, of course, a temporary fix. Once the information has been received from the state and they come and do their assessment, then that will go into additional conversation where what type of funding it can be done, and that would be a decision made by the family, Ms. Johnson and the heirs to this property, so that there can be some progression done, some immediate progression done to the property. So today I will now ask for a 30-day table for the 235 North 6th Street with the recognition that it will be tarped here soon, and then moving forward with the necessary treatment to the home.
Second.
All right. Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to table the resolution for 30 days, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to table for 30 days.
Agenda item 9 is a resolution designating voting delegates for Alabama League of Municipalities annual business meeting. Elected officials are designated to vote on behalf of the city at the Alabama League business meeting to be held May 12th. This names Mayor Craig Ford as the official voting delegate and Council President Kent Back and Councilman Steve Smith as alternate voting delegates. The chair will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
So moved.
Is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Agenda item 10 is a resolution appointing members to the Humane Society Pet Rescue and Adoption Center Board of Directors. This appoints Jeff Johnson, Gina Hollingsworth, Lieutenant Cliff Hurd, Sean Blackman, and Dr. Donna Gurley for terms expiring at the end of 2026. The chair will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Agenda item 11 is a resolution appointing member to Waterworks and Sewer Board. This appoints Gil Isbell to replace Jim Turnbach, District 5, for a term expiring on November 1, 2024. The chair will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Yes, Mr. President, I just want to say, I spoke to Chad Hare at the Waterworks Board earlier this week, and Jim Turnbach originally began serving in the Waterworks and Sewer Board of Gadsden in 1998. So that was the year I graduated high school. So I just want to extend my thank you to Mr. Turnbach. He was a neighbor of mine for quite some time, and he's been a faithful servant to the city, and I appreciate his service on the Waterworks and Sewer Board over that time. I know he's navigated a lot of stuff over there, and I appreciate his service to the community, and I look forward to former Representative Gil Isbell serving on that board, and I appreciate his willingness to do so.
Thank you. All right, clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Item number 12 is a resolution accepting conveyance of property located on North 11th Street. The owners have offered to donate a parcel of property in the 400 block of North 11th Street that abuts city-owned property. The chair will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion? Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Item 13 is a resolution authorizing agreement with Alabama Department of Transportation for MPO project. This is for preliminary engineering services to resurface and widen Black Creek Parkway from Wills Creek Road to South 11th Street. The city's 20% match is $222,689.25. The chair will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Yes, Mr. President, I just want to say I'm excited about this as we continue to build on that area of South Gadsden. This will expand and widen Black Creek Parkway, as it says, from Wills Creek Road down to South 11th Street. As you know, we've already done, and the ALDOT has done some significant improvements to that intersection there at South 11th and Black Creek Parkway. We also have some pretty expansive drainage projects that are going on in that area. And then, of course, the City Board of Education building the new baseball and softball complex there on the campus of Gadsden City High School. And hopefully soon, very soon, the Waterworks and Sewer Board and some other related utilities will finalize the work needed to be done to move forward on the paving of South 11th Street and the addition of a sidewalk over there. So it's really exciting to see those much-needed projects come together. Thank you.
It is, thank you. And it's great to have a 80-20 match with the state for that.
Absolutely.
So that makes our money go that much further. And that's kind of one of the entry points, you know, Mayor, to the city of Gadsden right there. We have so many people from out of town come to Gadsden City High School for all kind of events. This will just freshen up that whole area.
So, Mr. President, yesterday, it's funny you mentioned that. I met with every utility that's involved with South 11th. I called them to my office, I asked to meet with them along with the Water Board to get a timeline and for the public to know. They promised me, including weather days, by May 15th, all utilities will be complete. Then the paving company, they'll block off the road around May 15th, and the paving company will come in. They're grading up the whole street, South 11th, which will take some time. And the whole project should be done by August 15th in time for school to start. So I wanted to get all parties in the same room at the same time so the left hand knew what the right hand was doing. So it was a great meeting. It was something that needed to be done that hadn't been done in the past. So I think we made some progress with South 11th.
Mayor, thank you very much. On behalf of the citizens of District 5, that's something that's been needed for a long time, and I appreciate you holding their feet to the fire on it.
I agree. Thank you for doing that. All right, so we've had our discussion. Clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Item 14 is our last resolution. This authorizes agreement with Thomas M. McElrath. This is for architectural services for the construction of the new Fire Station Number 6 located at 206 Goldenrod Avenue, and the amount is $72,500. The chair will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All right, clerk, will you take the vote?
Those in favor to adopt the resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries to adopt.
Item 15 is for new business. I don't believe we have any today. Item 16 is department reports, committees, boards. Welcome back, Josh. Sorta, kinda. I say that because when Josh comes to speak, y'all, he typically has warnings of inclement weather, so.
Yeah, I have the reputation for bad news, I guess. It kind of follows me around. Due to the fact that it's been such a wide encompassing meeting this morning, I'm going to keep my points brief. So the first one, the EMA has been extremely busy over the last 3 weeks. We started out in Morgan County helping them with damage assessment on their tornadoes. Then we had damage in Sardis as well as the Etowah County part of Boaz. We've been extremely busy with that. Thank you to Mr. Mayor for spearheading the campaign of getting all the public works folks to come up at one time. They had over 600 trees that were down from the tornado, and they got everything up that was already cut. So they actually had to send crews back and say, hey, we're going to need you in a couple of weeks when we get some more cut up. So I appreciate that. Mayor Amos asked that I pass that along to you as well. We are continuing to work on the weather radio handout. We had it scheduled at the venue on April the 1st, which is the same day that the tornado came through. So we actually kind of broke away long enough to go hand out radios. We gave out 652 radios in 29 minutes and 30 seconds. So that is a huge number. We actually exceeded the number that we had planned to give out. We were going to stop at 700. Well, I couldn't very well stop it after 30 minutes with people still lined up. So we ended up giving out a total of 900 radios that day. We have more ordered. We also have some that have already been earmarked. They're going to be 492 of those are going to be used in the socioeconomically depressed areas, the underserved areas, as well as minority communities. That's going to be our next focus. And then when we get the next batch of weather radios in, we're going to be focusing on doing another community-wide campaign to get out there. And then lastly, you would think that this would be a common sense thing, but nobody had really thought about it. Our schools didn't have weather radios. So there was no way for the schools to be getting the warnings unless it was because the teacher or the principal or the headmaster, whoever it was, they had to be signed up to some service by one of the TV stations or somebody, Alert Etowah, for example, shameless plug, but they didn't have a weather radio. And so today, the EMA is very happy to report that all schools in Etowah County now have a weather radio. And we were able to do that. One of our employees, Ann Payne, took it on as kind of her project because she's the typical helicopter mom, so she knows where all of these folks are located, and so she kind of took it on to give the weather radios out to the schools. We're also going to be giving weather radios out to our extended care facilities, our nursing homes, and then the senior assisted living places as well. So it's turned out to be a really good thing and a really exciting thing for the community. And for us as emergency managers, it's been really excited to see the public excited about preparedness. So unless you have any questions, that's what I have for this week.
All right. Any questions? Well, Josh, thank you and all of your team for what you do. I know you have been busy the last 3 weeks, so
it's been a rough few weeks.
Your work does not go unnoticed. We are in much appreciation for you and your staff.
It takes a team.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other reports from committees or boards? If not, we will. Item 17 is a citizen request, and Joseph Coe had asked to speak on Carver Community Center. He called, I believe, this morning and said he needed to cancel that request to speak. So we'll move on to item 18, which is remarks by the mayor and council. Mayor Ford, would you like to go first?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. President. Members, I want to thank the council for enduring through us with these resolutions and accommodations. They mean a lot to these people, and they're not just from me, but they're from all of you. And we get a lot of positive feedback, not just the mayor's office, but the city of Gadsden, which includes all of us. Yesterday, I had the honor of presenting a resolution to a set of twins that were 101 years old, and they look younger than me, and I'm 54. So, and the gentleman told me I had to hurry because he had to go play dominoes in East Gadsden. And if I would like to come, but bring $20. No, I'm just kidding. But wonderful family, wonderful time to be able to spend with them, and it was just a blessing for me, not for them. It was for me. I wanted to update y'all. So the reason I'm not at council meetings, sometimes we're running out of time to have meetings with people. So I'm doing my best just to meet with the potential prospects for bringing industry here in Gadsden. I was in Birmingham earlier today. Last week it was a medical appointment. But today had a positive meeting and hopefully have some new news coming down the pipe soon. We've also met with our grant writer, which y'all authorized us to be able to hire. We have identified 4 to 5 strong grant opportunities to pursue. They would actually touch everybody's district in some form or fashion, from arts to housing to anything you can think of. This Friday is something that I wanted to do and organize, and I hope that you can attend also. We're having a cleanup day Friday. Most corporations have a cleanup day where the employees go out and clean. We're having 7 groups. We're having 7 team captains from Public Works, and we're going to each person's district. So if you would like to show up at the venue, Brett, you put 8:30. I thought it was 7:30. John, what time? We hadn't done that. It's going to be 7:30. Yeah, 7:30. So we're going to get rolling. So if you would like to be at the venue at 7:30, so Council District 1 is going to have a trailer and a person and a group of city employees. And if you'd love to come, we'd love to have you. We're going to have gloves, bags, all you can think of. And we're going to go pick up litter in your districts. And then we're coming back at 12:30, and the mayor's office is going to feed everyone. So we're going to feed everyone, and then I'm releasing the employees that participate in the cleanup at 2:30 to go home. So that hopefully right now we have a great participation. We're going to divide them all up. So if you have something in your area you would like personally cleaned up with an army of people, you need to let Jason Hill or John Moore know. Okay. Also, I want to let you know about Lisa Rosser has retired. She is willing to come back temporarily, part-time, on an hourly basis, and that won't last for long, so we're trying to take advantage of her knowledge. The mayor's office appointed an interview committee. I'm not sure who all was on it, but Rod, Tina, Brett, and Nick, I believe. Anybody else? And Ruth. And they gave me the recommendation, and I went with their recommendation. It's Brandon, who is the assistant finance director now, will become the finance director. I decided to split it up the way it used to be back in the day, and we hired Laura from Jacksonville City. She was their finance director, so she's going to be our revenue / assistant finance director. They are actually working right now, and the only problem I have is that we're in the middle of Tyler's system. So we're trying to get through that at the same time of a change of a finance director, so everybody be patient. So we're very lucky to have Lisa hang around for a few days to help us get caught back up. I wanted to address the ARP funds. This is something that I asked Rod to do earlier and had Lisa to come and present also to you as the council, because it seems like there's a lot of questions from all the council members. This is not something that this mayor decided. This is something that the previous administration with the previous council decided on where to spend those funds. The only funds that are in play, there's one thing that I don't know if it was mentioned or not, these funds have to be spent by the year 2024. Heath, if I'm wrong, correct me. So I wanted to go over the funds that I have left, the dollar amount, just real quick. In District 1, and if you got a lower amount, that's your previous administration's issue. So District 1 has $2.25 million being spent on some projects, and I had these projects here. I'm going to leave this sheet of paper here if you want to come by and look at the projects that they're working on, that he's working on now in your district. District 2 has $1,060,000. In your district, Councilman, it's 7 projects compared to 3 of her projects, but hers are double. In money. You got 7 projects, and you're welcome to look at them. District 3 is $5.350,000, and you have 5 projects being worked on right now. District 4 is $1,700,000, and you have 9 projects, Mr. President. District 5 is 4 projects, and it's $600,000. District 6 is $350,000, and there's 4 projects. District 7 is $670,000 with 6 projects. So I got to looking at this, and I was looking at District 6, and I was curious why that was so low and how they figured it out. So I picked up the phone and called some previous council people, and they tried to make it as even as possible. In your district, Miss Councilwoman, you're getting Elliott Community Center. So they used ARP funds to make up that difference. Frankie Davis informed me that they basically came within the amount of money that they could to keep it even, but over 79% of these funds, Heath, am I right, are spent in low to moderate income areas, or 81%.
It's actually, it's 85.
85%.
I think the allocation
allocation has to be 24, and I believe that the money has to be spent by 26.
Okay, so the money has to be spent by the year 2026, and the allocation has to be made by 2024. So can you change these funds? Absolutely. I don't know. I'll have to get with legal and Heath and all that. I do know some monies have already been spent on some engineering, but I would imagine these projects that are in your district, you're probably aware of those. And I would think if you try to take more money in your district, then you're going to be taking from somebody else's, and y'all are going to have to get together and work this out. When we went to D.C., I was wondering why there were so many meetings about ARP. Well, I want to commend the previous council and the previous administration. There's some mayors in some cities that have not come to an agreement yet on where they're going to spend their monies. That's a problem, especially with the departments that we met with in D.C., because if you use it or you lose it. So I want to thank the previous administration and council for already having a plan in place. Now, it's up to y'all to tweak it. It's up to me to implement it. I want to talk about some departments real quick. Last weekend was it wasn't the Kansas City barbecue.
Smoke on the Falls.
Smoke on the Falls. And I was a judge, and I ate more than I could put in my belly. But it was a wonderful event, and I want to thank Parks and Rec and Janet for what they do. That goes unseen and unheard sometimes. They are fabulous at putting on these events. We had 9 states represented up there. I had a ball. It was a lot of fun. Heath, I want to thank you. I think I'm wearing you out, but just get some new shoes. Because we're working hard. We got a lot of projects in the hopper. Legal, same thing with you. Y'all can swap shoes. But I appreciate everything you're doing. I want to thank our staff and everything they're doing. We're working them hard. Tina's mother-in-law is in her final moments as we speak. Ruth's stepfather is sick in Nashville, so please keep them in your prayers. Josh, thank you for what you did during the tornado. That was an easy call on our half, so we all made the decision to send some of our public works trucks up there to Sardis to help our brothers and sisters out. He called me, Mayor Amos, and said Mayor Reeves, who's the Mayor's Association, said they don't have the equipment, they don't know what to do. I said, no problems, we're sending our people up. I talked to Howell, he sent trucks up, 3 trucks on Tuesday or Wednesday. They got it done in a day, what would have taken them a month. So y'all, we have a lot to be proud of in Gadsden, but I want to thank you for allowing me to serve, and thank y'all, and there's a lot more going on, but I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, we appreciate that report. There is a lot going on, and certainly appreciate the help up in Sardis. I know those folks were desperate, and 600 trees, and that was something where I'm glad to see you step in where we have resources that others don't have that we can share with our local citizens like that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Latham.
Thank you, President Beck. First, let me echo the words of our mayor with saying happy birthday to the Gray twins. I've known them since I came into knowledge of knowing, and so we do say happy birthday to them on their 101st birthday. That is a tremendous blessing. And then let me say thank you to Mrs. Rosser and to Mr. Scott for the City of Gadsden ARP funding report. Thank you for the clarity that it brings. And not us just knowing this information, but I would say for myself, knowing what to say when I'm approached from the outside with certain things. This does bring clarity to that, and I do appreciate that. I also want to say something too, and I debated on really saying this, but I think that I'll go ahead and take the opportunity. Ms. Rosser said something when she was giving the report. She said there was a public hearing held and that it was well attended. I think it is very important that we don't wait until things pass by, but that we make ourselves well informed, especially when we have a special interest. That we are paying attention to those media outlets that let us know when there are public hearings, so that we can be informed, and not just informed so that at that moment when it is taking place that we can express our feelings then and make our voices heard, and not later. So I just wanted to say that those public hearings are very important, and we should take advantage of those. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Latham. Councilman Smith.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank the mayor and the council, all the department heads for all that you do, especially when weather is bad. We just really appreciate all the wonderful things that you do. Hope everybody had a great Easter. I do want to say a special thank you, Lee, for the discretionary teaching this morning. I don't know if I'm any better yet, but thank you. I'm gonna need a few of those. But it was some good teaching, and we need that as a new council coming in, so we can better serve our people. We're here to serve. So thank you for that teaching on this morning. I also want to just tell Councilman Wilson, thank you. He has an annual food Feed the Need that he does around Christmas. Since he didn't do it, it was a great collaborative effort. We were giving away gas. He normally gives away food. He gave us hundreds of boxes of food that helped a lot of families. So I want to just tell him thank you. That was a blessing in a lot of ways. So again, thank you for the collaborative effort. We appreciate each and every one of you for all that you do. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Avery.
Mr. President, District 3 district meeting will be today, 6 p.m. is the starting time, or when we will gather at the Civic Center, and we will begin immediately at 6:30 and try to end promptly at 7:30. As well, happy birthday to the Gray Twins, their 101st birthday. Good to see them still together and celebrating, so waiting for the big party. Community cleanup. I had been receiving many calls and texts on our community cleanup. Our community cleanup in District 3 will be June, July, and August. The particular date will be to be announced on what that day will be, because we have some partnerships with community organizations and a company out of Lincoln, a company out of Albertville, and another company that are going to come in and assist us because we have so much to clean up. So June, July, and August, stay tuned to our Facebook page, and we'll have those. Also, right now, you can call and volunteer, and those numbers are available on the Facebook post, so that you can go ahead and call and sign up. So people have been seeing that, so they have already started signing up. So good deal there, and thanks. Two Carter's Fish grand opening will be this Saturday at 12 p.m. This is a new business that's opening in District 3 there on Tuscaloosa Avenue, as we continue to make collaborative efforts in bringing life back to that community, positive life. So want to invite everyone out to Two Carter's Fish grand opening this Saturday at 12 p.m. Tonight, the NAACP Etowah County chapter will have its city meeting tonight at 5:30 at Jacksonville Court Recreational Center. So if you get a chance to come out to that meeting as they discuss important matters that has come. Carver Community Revitalization Committee, want to thank them for their Easter egg hunt, community Easter egg hunt that was in at the Carver Center. That was heavily attended with so many counseling because of weather. So want to continue to thank that community organization for what all they do concerning District 3. But all these events are open to the city of Gadsden, just to be clear. On Saturday, April the 22nd, 8 a.m. through 12 p.m., the Carver Community Revitalization Committee will also be having a rummage sale. And so if you want more information or be involved, you can reach out at 256-328-4750. This weekend is going to be one of Gadsden's biggest events, and it brings all of the old high schools together, and that's Flashback Old School Weekend Tailgate 2023. That'll be this April the 8th, 5 p.m. at the Gadsden City High School. So I want to thank Mr. Treadwell, who is here today. Thank you so much, and the team that puts on this event for quite some time, and all of the extracurricular activities that you do when it concerns our young people and our community. So we want to thank you and continue the good work. Thank you so much. This weekend, Old School Weekend, April the 8th, 5 p.m. at Gadsden City High School. 15th, I'm sorry, the 15th. Sorry, April 15th. Thank you. Finally, I've been getting mad calls and emails and concerns about the Ross program at Carver Community Center. So we will discuss. I've invited the director or the person in charge to the district meeting this evening. I haven't got a confirmation back. I know her and I were supposed to do a Facebook Live kind of to just put the information out there. So hopefully they will be in attendance at the community meeting this evening. It had been stated that I had a meeting with the Parks and Rec Department head discussing the positive acceptance of the program. That is not true. I haven't even met with Ross before this was presented to discuss this. So my stance with this is in the middle because of what they provide, but then also because of the concern that the community have. And so I'm in the middle right now, but I want to clear up some things, and we'll clear it up at the community meeting. Just to be clear, also, when it comes to the community meeting, these are the topics that were presented. That's building department with trash and debris on private property, public works with illegal dumping, Gadsden Land Bank, finance department, library, museum, culture, arts. And I have received that the finance department will not be, or someone from the finance will not be in attendance. So hopefully we'll have the rest of the departments there to discuss these, because there are some very important discussions that need to be had when it concerns District 3 with those topics that have been announced here. So hope to see everyone at District 3 community meeting this evening at 6 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Wilson.
Yeah, just quick. Congratulations to Dr. Misra. I've known your name for a long time. I know she's had to leave early, but hopefully she'll go back and watch these comments. My sister was actually the very first BCBS therapist in Etowah County, and started CUSA Behavioral Services, which is a clinic that is devoted to therapy and service to autistic children and children with Asperger's syndrome. So I've known your name in my life for quite some time. I think that was almost 5 years ago when my sister started CUSA Behavioral Services. So to see the success that you've had on a national level promoting and advocating for children with autism is something that I know warms my heart and my sister's heart, and your recognition is well deserved. So I hope that you continue to advocate in the ways that you do, and I look forward to seeing the Autism Conference here in Gadsden. I hope that grows into a statewide and eventually a national event. The only other thing is a little bit of housekeeping. I want to clarify, I do this sometimes. Earlier in the meeting, when we were approving the minutes from the previous week, I typically am the one to make the motion to approve the previous week's minutes, just out of habit. However, there were minutes from last week concerning a finance committee meeting that I did not attend. So if I don't attend a meeting, I typically will not make a motion to approve the minutes for that meeting, simply because I wasn't there and couldn't verify that the minutes were accurate. So if you saw kind of some stumbling up here, that's why I'm typically the one that approved the minutes from the last week's meeting, but because I wasn't at the finance meeting, I didn't do it, and everybody kind of looked around like, why didn't you approve the minutes? That's why I just wanted everybody to know. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you. Councilwoman Minatra.
I just want to say thank you to Jan Henson in the building department. I was able to ride with her last week through Walnut Park, and it was a very educational process for me to see it through another person's eyes that's certainly more skilled than I. So I appreciate Jan and her boss, Brian Harbison. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilman Robinson.
Yes, Mr. President. Jason, we just, I'm sorry, Councilman Wilson, we just, we always look, you're just always doing that. So we're just like, what's going on? What's going on? I know. Anyway, reiterate what Mayor Ford said about Smoke on the Falls this weekend. It was another well-attended, well-organized event. Thank Janet Terrence and Jen Weddington and everybody from Parks and Recs on that, Christina Richardson and her staff at Nuclear Falls. Also have Art on the Rocks coming up this weekend, Saturday and Sunday at Nuclear Falls. If you've never attended that, I would advise, or I would appreciate, or I would say you're missing out if you don't come up there and walk through that and look at all the arts and crafts. That'll be all. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilman. I want to reiterate, Smoke on the Falls, my wife and I attended for a little while. Y'all, I don't know if you remember Saturday, but it was cold. And up on the mountain, it's about 10 degrees colder, and it was raining. And y'all, there was our city employees out there in golf carts and bringing people back and forth from the parking lot and doing all kinds of various sundry things. I mean, we have some really good folks that are working for us in the city of Gadsden. I'm very proud to say that I know them, and very proud to be able to associate with them. Mayor, you were there, so you know the conditions were just really tough. It was cold and wet, but it did not deter our staff up there. And I will say Art on the Rocks is a wonderful event. Hopefully you can go and attend that. I want to thank Lisa Rosser for her service to the city, 22 and a half years. She did a report, helped put together a report that Rod Scott presented this morning. Together they collaborated, and very good, transparent report on the ARPA funds, and we owe a great deal of thanks to Ms. Rosser. We wish her well in her retirement. Thank you, Mayor, for the trash cleanup on Friday. I think every district is I'm already thinking of where I'm going to go and what needs to be done. It'll take more than one Friday, but you got to start somewhere. So I just appreciate the effort and the attention that's put onto that. And I wanted to, last but not least, there was some comments on social media about the trash increase. You know, our residential garbage went from $13 a month to $20 a month. So we bill quarterly. So it used to be $39 a quarter to have your residential garbage picked up. Now it's going to be $60 per quarter. Based on what I've seen, we're the lowest in Etowah County except for Attala. I think they're $15 a month, but I bet when their contract comes up for renewal, they'll be well into the $20 a month range. So, and just to give a little history on that, 1992, I believe it is, we charged $5 a month for garbage pickup. 1995, that was raised to $9.50. There's only been 4 price increases since 1992. We waited about 20-something years, went from $9.50 to $13 a month in 2007. So we've rocked along from 2007 to 2023 at the same price. You have to stop and ask yourself, what is the same price 16 years later? I think the answer is nothing. So we increased to $20 a week, and yes, that was a 50.54% increase. But I think what should be noted, we probably waited too late to make that increase. We were probably negligent in not raising the price earlier. So a study was done by the mayor's staff and Public Works. They put a lot of time into this. It wasn't just a swag number that they picked up that 20 sounds good. A lot of work went into that, and a lot of research at other municipalities, and just our hard cost, and it came to $20 a week. So the question was asked, what do I get for that increase? Well, the way I looked at it, you get your trash picked up every week. If you live in the city of Gadsden comes by and empties your garbage can once a week. That's $4.62 every time that truck comes by your house and puts that can and empties it for you. Think about that. That big old truck gets about 3 miles to the gallon. You've got a CDL driver in that truck, and we're charging you $4.62 every time your garbage is emptied. So to answer that question, that's what you get. You get your garbage dumped for $4.62. So, and hopefully the cities, we're not making a profit. We try to break even on things like that. And you throw into the fact that we also pick up your leaves, your sticks, your couches, your chairs, your umbrellas, A to Z, and there's no charge for that. That's encompassed, if you want to say, it's held within that $20 a month. I don't know if any other city does that. So just want to just for some clarity and to make sure people know what's happening with that. I mean, there's a lot of prudency going on in how we spend city dollars, and a lot of study and a lot of time. It took us, 17 years to raise the price. So I don't think it'll take us 17 years the next time, or at least I hope it doesn't, because we can't remain solvent if we're going to continue with prices from 16, 17 years ago. It just doesn't work. So with that happy news, I will consider this meeting adjourned.
Real quick,
one
Mr.
more?
President, just because
Yes.
I want to cover your back on social media, I think you inadvertently a couple of times said $20 a week instead of $20 a month.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Your trash does get picked up once a week, but the charge is $20 a month. So I just want to clarify.
That's why I've got Jason Wilson sitting up here next to me. He'll help me with that. Councilman Avery has one more final comment.
I mean, maybe the police department could help me out. There's a gentleman, 20 years old, that is he still missing? Okay. Bush is his last name. I can't think if someone just texted me, and I told him that I would highlight that. He's a young black male, 20 years old. A car was abandoned on the bridge, and from there, so he's nowhere to be found. Family put out a missing report. So maybe could they go to the police department site, Gadsden Police Department, and see the picture of him that's published? Okay, so.
Mr. President?
Yes, sir.
Sorry.
Yes.
So we're dealing with our fire and rescue as we speak, and police, I was texting some of them. The issue is we're having a standstill with Alabama Power Company trying to get them to turn off the turbines, which are about 20 miles down the river. They're saying the draft is pulling and it's dangerous for our firefighters and our dive team. They can't go down. It's dangerous for them. So we have been searching to no avail, and we hadn't hit hot spots or anything, what they call it. So we're trying to get Alabama Power to turn off the turbines. We contacted Spencer Williams this morning. He said he does not think the turbines, and they do not think that it affects us. So we are in conversations with them as we speak to please turn off the turbines so we can dive and search some of these spots that they've hopefully found. So I want to thank our first responders. They have continued to fight through the current and continue to search. And no, there are no witnesses that saw anyone jump. They just found an empty vehicle running. So we're hoping that this turns out in a positive manner, not a negative manner. So thank you.
Mayor, do we not have a camera on that bridge at all? We don't.
Not that I know of.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. We're adjourned.